call this meeting of the Architectural Review Board and City Plan Commission on June 6th to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
Watke?
Here.
Hunter?
Here.
Stocko?
Here.
Boardman?
Here.
Geistlin?
Here.
Meinel? Schroeder.
Next item of business is the approval of the minutes of the May 2nd meeting. So approved.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. First item of business is a zoning ordinance amendment. And I will read it if you haven't read it before. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held before the Planning Commission of the City of Elkhorn on June 6, 2024 at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter may be heard in the council chambers. City's Administration Offices, 311 Seymour Court, Elkhorn, Wisconsin, for the purpose of hearing all interested parties, their attorneys or agents with respect to a zoning text amendment to Section 1712 of the City of Elkhorn Municipal Ordinance pertaining to the Board of Appeals. You've all read the article. I guess we ask for anybody that. Pardon?
Allison, hear from her first.
Allison?
Administrator.
Sure, absolutely. Is the public hearing open at this time?
Mhm.
Yep, okay. Thank you very much. So what you have in front of you tonight is an amendment to Article 17.12, which pertains to our Zoning Board of Appeals ordinance. It was noted at one of our last Zoning Board of Appeals meetings that our ordinance was slightly outdated and did not match the current state statute. So I have been working with Rebecca Shepro, and she has helped us rewrite the ordinance and be sure that it matches current state statute. So you will see enclosed in your packet, there was a redlined version and a clean version of the ordinance amendments, so you can see all of the changes that were made. But I would be happy to open it up to any questions that you may have, and Rebecca or I would be happy to answer those.
I do want to make a note very quickly. What's included in your packet, including the red line, is just the most recent version. There were further changes than what is on that red line that have been made. I'll go through a couple of the main points here. We've changed the definition of a quorum. Well, we've defined it in your ordinance now. And then we have also put in language that only requires a concurring vote of the majority of the members present to act. I know we had in there before a certain number of members had to be present, and that was not commensurate with what the quorum was. We've also introduced staggered terms for the first Board of Appeals after this ordinance has been passed. To make sure that the terms are actually staggered, we have inserted a procedure for the term lengths. We have also included both use and area variance in the ordinance as required by statute, where your ordinance prior did not have those designations. And we have included an expanded decisions and hearings section. We have noted that a decision letter is needed, that conditions may be placed. We've added language about expiration of variances, the required vote for a decision, and rehearing procedures. Thank you.
Anybody here wishing to be heard on the matter? Second call, anybody wishing to be heard on the matter? Third call, anybody wishing to be heard on the matter? If not, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion by the board?
No, sir.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
This is the first reading, correct? First alternate on the second.
It's the public hearing and recommendation to the council to adopt it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Second item, or next item, is notice of public hearing on conditional use permit. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held before the Plan Commission of the City of Elkhorn on June 6, 2024 at 6 p.m. or soon thereafter, as matter may be heard in the council chambers. City Administration Offices, 311 Seymour Court, Elkhorn, for the purpose of hearing all interested parties, their attorneys or agents with respect to the application submitted by Manuel Saucedo Galindo at Madras Cafe for a conditional use permit to allow for a restaurant cafe located at 1560 North Country Club Parkway. The property is more precisely identified by the following tax parcel, YFEI 00005. Okay, now we want input from Allison, or
Yep, the public hearing's open.
public hearing is now open.
Yes, thank you very much. As you stated, this is a conditional use permit for the property located at 1560 North Country Club Parkway, previously known as the Stillwater Coffee Company. Currently, Stillwater Coffee Company is and has been operating at this location with a conditional use permit for a cafe, coffee shop, light lunch, snack items. And recently the property has sold to Manuel, and he is requesting a conditional use permit tonight to continue and expand restaurant operations, as well as keep the cafe, coffee shop. And in addition to that, hopefully in the future, be able to offer some seasonal outdoor seating, outdoor food menu items, and that sort of thing. So tonight's conditional use is not only for the restaurant operations, which is required in the B3 neighborhood business district, but also the outdoor seating, which is only allowed by conditional use in the B3 neighborhood business district. The applicant is present tonight if you would like him to speak during the public hearing.
Okay. Do you have anything to add, Manuel?
No, that's, well, just a couple things.
Manuel, if you could just come up to one of the podium mics, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
So just as Allison was saying, I recently purchased the building about a month ago, give or take. My plan is to have a full restaurant, a cafe, which is going to serve mostly breakfast and a couple lunch items. And the outdoor would be, maybe on the weekends here and there, and it will be just like light items. It'll be grilling, burgers, brats, something simple, and just have a few tables in our little lawn area, maybe 5 or 6 tables.
Just a question, are you talking just out front there? Because I know that building pretty well.
Yeah.
So in the basement, obviously, you have lease, I think you lease to the Lakes Area Realtor Association downstairs, right? Is there any other leases down there too?
There's 2 tenants. There's it's Peggy by Design, which is
Right.
they make the cabinet.
Yeah.
And then the realtor's office.
Okay. So you wouldn't be doing anything with the parking down below, just out front you're talking about?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah. Yeah, so the parking will not be affected. It will just be like on the lawn.
You can see on the screen there's a depiction of maybe some area where there would be some possible grass seating. outdoor seating would not extend past that point. I have spoken with Manuel. There are 2 tenants in the lower unit. They will be staying. Those will remain existing. Those will be unchanged. Enclosed in your packet tonight, you will see that I actually did go out on site and perform an inspection of the Stillwater Coffee Company. There are adequate exits. There are adequate separation between all of the business spaces. So there is a foyer with a door that you'll see here that locks, that goes into the cafe or coffee shop. If you go down the steps, there is also another locked door that locks between the 2 businesses, so they are all completely separated. In the future, the property owner may be applying for a liquor license. However, that would not be determined at tonight's meeting.
Anybody else wishing to be heard? Second call, anybody else wishing to be heard on the matter? Third call, anybody wishing to be heard? If not, hearing is closed. Anything else to add, Allison?
No, I will just note that my staff recommendation was to approve the conditional use permit for restaurant operations with outdoor seating. A couple of conditions that I noted: that the project should be developed in accordance with the plan of operations and site plan. The business owner has stated that his operating hours will be 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And possibly 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends. However, I did just state the condition that the operating business hours shall not exceed 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on a weekly basis in the event that you were to ever extend your weekend hours. All special events shall be approved by the City of Elkhorn prior to the event. Outdoor seating shall not exceed 10 tables between the back deck and any yard seating. Seating shall never be within the parking areas or parking lot. All alterations to the building shall require applicable building and zoning permits, and all alcohol service must be first approved by the City of Elkhorn with applicable licenses.
Okay, any other discussion?
Yes, he did. Okay.
If there is a motion to approve, your motion should include staff recommendations A through G.
I make a motion to approve with staff recommendations A through G.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item of business, we'd have to have a motion to take the CUP off the table in regards to Joseph Doherty and Cerdome Midwest Storage Association,
Is that to take it off the table?
right?
I'll make a motion to take it off the table.
Do we have a
Go ahead.
second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Conditional use permit recommendation. Allison, what is your recommendation?
Thank you. So the last time this project came before the City of Elkhorn Plan Commission, there were a few items that needed to be worked out on my end. One of the biggest items was the rear yard setback. If you remember, the applicant was going to request a variance to have the rear yard setback reduced. That variance was unfortunately denied. Therefore, the property owner and Ferris Hansen worked together to reconfigure their site plan. So what you have before you tonight is a new site plan, a little bit different than the site plan that came before you at the previous meeting. It does meet all setback requirements. In terms of the conditional use permit, the conditional use permit is for the use of mini warehousing units. So with that being said, I am recommending conditional use approval this evening, but I will turn it over to Naomi, our city engineer, to see if she has anything further.
Thank you. I have a review letter, recommendation for approval dated May 20th, 2024, in your packet. The revised site plan addresses many of the issues that we had outstanding the last time we were here, including more detail on the stormwater management plan and its connection into city storm sewer, as well as there was a holding tank that was removed from the plan set. That leads me to some conditions that I have placed on my recommendation for approval. The first being that the water service that is shown on the plan set be removed. There's currently a water service still shown to the office building, and the office building is not intended to have any utilities or sinks or toilets, and is going to be unstaffed. Is that right? Okay, no staff. So it's very unusual to have water service into a building that has no sewer or septic. That being said, it's my understanding that the applicant would like to have water for irrigation. I understand some communities, I haven't had a chance to talk to the water utility, but I did talk to the building inspector as well as Matt from DPW. And perhaps if a water service for irrigation was to be requested, that service could be tied directly to an underground irrigation system so that there's no access of water to the building and just irrigation, and it would be metered as such. So if that were the intent, then my recommendation is we would work that out with the water utility, how that would be installed and metered properly. The other conditions I have are as a copy of the notice of intent from Wisconsin DNR, a coordination with the city water utility finding the exact location of the water main that runs through the property under a proposed easement, and as-built plans for the stormwater management system and connection at the city storm sewer. A couple other things. A letter of credit is required for this project because of the stormwater and public infrastructure connection. So that should be provided prior to issuance of any building permits, and proper erosion control is required on this site.
Thank you. Then just a couple of things to add on my end in terms of the conditional use permit and site plan. As Naomi stated, a lot of the items were corrected in this last site plan review. Fire protection is now adequate. The fire chief is happy with the layout and site plan of all fire hydrants and fire lanes. I am recommending conditional approval as well, and I'll just read some of those conditions. That the project should be developed in accordance with the plan of operations. All Kapoor memo comments and conditions shall be addressed and included. Applicant shall provide reimbursement to the city of Elkhorn all costs incurred by the city for a review of this conditional use, including but not limited to engineering, legal, and planning review that occurred prior to the permit issuance and during implementation of the plans and construction of improvements. Project must begin within 1 year of the date of approval, or applicant will be required to reapply for both conditional use permit and site plan review. The applicant must allow city employees or contracted firms or designees unlimited access to the project site at a reasonable time to investigate the project's construction, operation, and maintenance. The approved conditional use permit shall always be placed on site in a conspicuous location within the office space. The applicant should understand that they are accepting this conditional use approval and zoning permit, and beginning the project means that you've read, understand, and agree to all of the following conditions that I am stating. Except for the vehicle parking areas shown on the submitted site plans, outdoor storage of any kind is prohibited, and the property must be kept free of any accumulation of refuse or debris. All refuse bins must be screened from public view. All exterior lighting shall be in compliance with the City of Elkhorn municipal ordinances, and all signage shall be reviewed and approved by the zoning administrator. Because this is not a public comment, would you like to hear from the applicant?
If he has anything to add, yeah, go ahead.
Off my file, I don't know where anything is. I just want to thank the staff for working through this with us because
Okay.
that variance, I mean, it works out this way too, you know, it does. But I did have a conversation with the neighbor, and that's why we went that way to start with a little bit. So it's all going to work out fine. There's a little bit less in total building area, but it's fine. We did add a number of things for landscaping in the plan already. And we can talk about the site and the architectural in a little bit here. So you have the operations memo that we have submitted, and he would like to, just to tell you, he would like to proceed as fast as he can with this. He wants to begin and close on the property very soon. I believe, is that scheduled already, Joe?
As soon as I'm able and have permits,
Okay.
we will be there with equipment and
Okay.
paint marking and ready to go. We are ready and waiting.
If it stops raining too, we got
That may help.
So, okay, well, but thank you for
Thank you.
all your work. too.
Well, so it just takes 2 votes, right? Allison, legal question.
It's a question actually for both Allison and Naomi. If the Plan Commission was inclined to allow the water for the irrigation system, do your memos incorporate a requirement that any specifications to village engineer requirements for connection to the underground irrigation system and metering? Is that language incorporated already into your memos, or is that an additional condition we need to add?
I think that would be appropriate additional condition.
Okay.
We have details on the connection at the main, but nothing that would be at the irrigation system, since it's
Okay.
not currently shown on the plan.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
So now we have 2 votes, right? We have to vote on recommendation of the conditional use permit to the council, right?
Allison, do you want them combined, conditional use approval and site plan, or do you want those taken up separately?
We can take them separately.
Both subject to the same conditions, though?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Do you have a motion?
Jim, I think he'd like to say something. I'd like to hear what you say.
Talking with Warren, he said. we
Could
have
you,
a-
could you step up a little?
Absolutely.
Yep.
My name is Joe Doherty. I'm lifelong Wisconsin resident. Been trying to plan a storage facility for quite some time. Did have an accepted offer on another property that had storage units on it. And then when I met with Allison, I heard her loud and clear. She made it very clear that that's not a fit for the city of Elkhorn. And so I did ask Allison, where would be a good fit? And this lot is one of the properties. So that's why I pursued this lot. I think it's gonna be a great fit for the needs for the city of Elkhorn and for myself. And, there's a lot of things about the way we're gonna build this. I think you and the rest of the residents of Elkhorn would find favorable. It'll be not an eyesore, it'll be aesthetically pleasing. And, the facility could be built a lot cheaper. And the reason it's being built the way it is eventually the idea is to have this property sold to a REIT. If you're not familiar with a REIT, a real estate investment trust, current storage, there's extra space. There's a company that was founded by my father called NSA. They're typically more on the West Coast, but they will purchase properties that are built to certain standards. And why that benefits municipalities, that property will always be maintained. After I'm gone, that property will maintain, it will remain aesthetically pleasing. There's properties right here in our town that they're still receiving rent checks, but there's no upkeep to those properties, and they deteriorate. But there's no real incentive, I guess, until the roof opens up to repair. And so it's something I wanted to express that I think carries a lot of weight. That these are gonna be aesthetically pleasing, and the end goal is to sell this to a REIT, which will ensure a great facility far beyond our lifetimes, you know, and great use for the city. I've been on a waiting list for 4 months to get a unit in Elkhorn. I call every week, every storage unit in here, I know. There's a huge demand for it, but thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so what is your pleasure on the conditional use permit? A motion to either approve or deny.
Subject to the conditions and addressing the water as well.
Right?
Subject to the conditions and addressing the water as well.
Yeah,
All
right.
right, I'll make that motion to approve, subject to the conditions, staff recommendations, and are you talking about irrigation for the, yeah.
Second?
Yeah, motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion is carried. The site plan and architectural review recommendation, either approve or disapprove.
Motion to approve with staff recommendations.
And the water.
And the
Second.
Motion and a
the
second.
water.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried.
That scared me.
Thank you.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Could somebody tell us exactly the process from here? You're gonna make a recommendation to the board, right?
To
How
council.
soon do you think we could be commencing construction based on having all the permits? I know we have the NOI already, we have others.
Well, the
Okay.
conditional use is just a recommendation for the council to approve it. And the 17th is the next council meeting,
So
a week from this
not
Monday.
start until after the 17th.
Yeah.
But we can start with our permits now as far as getting everything ready.
Yes, that is correct.
Submit it,
Yes.
I'm just talking about to submit.
Yes, we'll need an updated plan from you, Warren, showing the water removed, and we'll have to internally work on the irrigation system. And from there, if you've met all of the conditions that Naomi requires, you can move forward and apply for your building permits. On the 17th, both items will be heard before the city council for final approval.
Sure, that's only a couple weeks away, but we'll be ready.
If I
Yep.
could note, if the irrigation becomes an issue, I'll truck water in if I have to. I prefer not to. But if you look at our plan, we have quite a few plantings. And I'd like to make it beautiful. I'd like to not have to truck water in to take care of all these trees and bushes. It'd be nice.
Well, they won't have any plumbing fixtures in that building at all whatsoever. So they won't have that. And so it's gonna be difficult to put them in under cover, so to speak.
One thing, Warren, is you probably want to give me your engineer's cost estimate so we can verify the amount for the letter of credit, and you can start working in the letter of credit amount. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, next item of business. Tim Baker applicant, BK Property Management Company, 1950 North Wisconsin Street, tax key YMC 00021. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held before the Plan Commission with the City of Elkhorn on June 6, 2024 at 6 p.m. as soon after. The matter to be heard in the council chambers, City Administration Offices, 311 Seymour Court, with respect to the application submitted by Tim Baker, BK Property Management, for a conditional use permit to allow outdoor storage of landscape material and equipment located at 1950 North Wisconsin Street. The property is more precisely identified by following tax parcel YMC 0021. I'll call this hearing to order. You have anything to present, Tim or Allison?
Sure.
Who wants to go first?
I can start, Tim, and then I'll have you come up and just introduce yourself. So Tim applied for a conditional use permit for outdoor storage. The property is located in the B6 Commercial Business District at 1950 North Wisconsin Street. That is, a compounded area full of several other businesses. But Tim has an area right on the left-hand side of the property, right off of Highway 67. This actually came before us. Tim did receive a notice of violation from our department, just making him aware that outdoor storage is only permitted by conditional use. So enclosed in your packet, you will see some photos and images of what the property currently looks like. And so Tim did want to absolutely come into compliance. He applied for the conditional use permit right away so that we could come to some sort of solution for this outdoor storage that's being kept on site for his landscape company. However, the site plan did not come in until after the deadline and after the Plan Commission packet came out. And because of that, I have not had adequate time to review the site plan and work through some things with the applicant. So I am recommending we table the conditional use permit this evening until we are able to work through the site plan and bring back an adequate site plan to the Plan Commission. However, the public hearing notice was noticed, so I would love for Tim to just introduce himself and add anything further.
Evening, Tim Baker, owner of BK Property Management. We've been operating out of this facility since 2012, and I think we purchased it in 2013 or 2014. When I did purchase it, I did use Christina Green, a commercial real estate attorney. So I thought everything was up in order until I got caught off guard with Allison's letter, a few weeks ago. So just here to take care of whatever we got to do to be in compliance with the city. So.
So do we have to go through with the 3 calls for anybody to be heard or no?
No, you do not. And we're recommending that you actually adjourn the public hearing to a date certain of July 11th. And this matter then will come back to finish the public hearing with the updated site plan at that date. So it would be adjourn the public hearing to July 11th would be the motion.
Need a motion to do
I
that.
adjourn the public hearing to July 7th?
11th.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Tim, what that means is we'll just come back at our next meeting on July 11th to hopefully wrap this up. In the meantime, you and I will work together to bring something back to the Plan Commission.
Planned, okay, got it, thank you.
Yep. Elaine, do we also need a motion then to table the conditional use permit as well? No?
No.
Okay, great.
So we'll see you on July 11th then, Tim.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next item of business. Haley Jansen, applicant, PBC Studios, Company 5 West Walworth Street, tax key YOP 00219. EEDA grant application acceptance. She applied for the EEDA and we did get a letter from Chris Clapp of the Chamber from EDA Elkhorn Economic Development Alliance that they approved the funds for Ms. Jansen. So we need a motion to approve that. It has to go to council to be approved then?
No.
It's- so we
just here.
approve it. Okay.
Just here.
So we didn't need a motion to either approve or deny.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 6, any general discussion items or updates? Do you have anything, Allison, or?
I can just note that we're still currently working with Creekside. And I'm unsure when they will be back to the Plan Commission, but we are still working with them to get items completed and satisfied. In terms of other projects, we will be having another meeting on June 20th and July 11th. We have a lot of upcoming projects. It's a busy time of year. But other than that, I don't have any updates.
Do we have anything about the Holden factory? You know, a year ago, we had a guy from Walworth want to go in there. We never heard back from him. But I see the last 2 months now, they've been active by cleaning up the lot and working inside. The lights have been on. And I just curious if anybody is,
Yes.
if they're just trying to get it to sell.
That gentleman who came before the Plan Commission from Walworth with the Window Well Company did either purchase or enter into a purchase agreement with the owners of that building. And I believe he is now the responsible party for that building and has been working to get the property cleaned up within the parameters that he can in the near future. I believe after certain remediation is completed, he will then need to apply for building permits to do interior work.
Sounds good. Okay, we will have another meeting on June 20th.
I have one question. Is it possible, I know we get the updates on, what was just sent out, was it Tuesday? Monday, Tuesday, whatever it was. Is it possible to get something similar to that for projects that we have approved? I don't know whether it's monthly, bi-month, every other month, just to say this project has started. Is it possible to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Similar to like my code enforcement report, is that what you're referring to? Yeah, absolutely. I could put a spreadsheet like that together for all projects that come through the Plan Commission, and I could send that out on a monthly basis.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, Dwayne.
I've never gotten anything.
Okay, so June 20th
I'll
and
connect with
July
you.
11th. Anything else?
Dwayne wants to be on it.
Okay, need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.